Okay, so here's drawing 26 we're going to start. Now, for drawing 26, it shows the top, front, and the left side views. However, we're going to be drawing it looking at it in this direction, just like how we're used to. The reason they show the left side view is because of this detail right here, which is from this hidden line right here, and that right there. There's also circles here, which are not drawn with your circle template. Those are drawn with an ellipse template, so you get to use that on this one. So this point down here is what we're trying to find, which is this right here. So just like always, we're going to have to find half the height, half the depth, and half the width. The height on this, it says, is 1 7/8. Half of 7/8 is 7/16. Half of 1 is 8/16. So it gives us 15/16 for half the height. Half the depth, it says right here, 2 1/4 is our depth. So that means 1 1/8 is half the depth. Find half the width. It says 4 is the width. So of course half of 4 is 2. So there are our figures for finding this first point right here, just like we did on the last one. I first found the center point here. I'm going to measure straight down. Draw that line. This can be 15/16. Put this over here so maybe you can see it. So there's 15/16 right there. And that's how long this is going to be. And then we're going to go on a 30-degree angle, half the depth, which is 1 1/8. Degree angle. What is going on? There you go. So this is 1 1/8. Right there. Now this goes half the width, which is 2. Because this is our starting point right there. There we go. This will be the starting point. So it goes this way, goes this way. Kind of doing a slightly different approach here. Goes that way. So that point is the starting point right here. If you do the overall box to start, then you're going to do these 3 dimensions right here. Overall width is 4, so that's what this is right here. The height, 1 7/8. And the depth is 2 1/4. Okay, so there's our overall box. I'm going to clean this up a little bit for you. These are drawn very lightly on yours. You do not have to do this. Make sure this middle part here you're using to center the drawing, make sure that's very light. Okay, so there's the start. So just like before, if it helps, draw what is on the outside of the object. It'll make it a lot easier. This right here is on the front view. So that's what you're going to draw right here. Keep in mind, this right here does not go all the way down to the bottom. Okay? So this goes up a 1/4 inch. This right here is 2.5. 2.5 right there. That might be actually a good way to start. 2.5. So that right there is this point right here. So that's going to now come down. Heck, if you wanted, you could just, while you're at it, probably see that this goes straight back right there, right? Which is this line. Don't want to jump around too much, but now I have this point right here coming down right here. Don't get it confused with this line right here. So when you bring this down, it does not go all the way to the bottom. It does not go all the way down. It actually is 1/4 inch away. So if you take this, I'm measuring on that vertical line, 1/4 inch right here. That's how far down it goes. It goes within 1/4 inch of the bottom. That seems really small. It's what it is, though. That's 1/4 inch. You saw it. And this, you can slide it over there. So that right there is this right here. So you can see this little part right there. Little part right there. That's what this is right here. Now this is 1/4 inch right here. You cannot measure horizontally. Remember, this horizontal is parallel with this. That's actually on a 30-degree angle. So you have to measure on a 30-degree angle. You cannot measure this way. That is not accurate, okay? So you measure 30 degrees, 1/4 inch. Really doesn't matter where on that line you measure, as long as it's from that line. That's where that vertical part will go. And once you reach towards the top, keep in mind, it also does not go all the way to the top. This line comes up to right here within 1/4 inch. There's 1/4 inch there. Got to maintain that 1/4 inch all the way around. So if I'm lining that up, here's 1/4 inch right there. Well, I'll wait on that. Already measured that. Remember, this is 1/4 inch as well. But this does not go all the way down. Remember, it only comes down to here, which measured from the top is 1 1/4. This line coming down here was this one on the right. This one on the left is this one on the left. So from this top surface, make sure it's the top you're measuring from. It goes down 1 1/4. Measuring from the top. 1 1/4. That is where this ends. That's where this one comes down to. There's that front part. There's that front part. Now if you want, you can put this surface in. That part right there is that. That's what that is. It's at that height. So a lot of this you do not have to measure because you already have. Right there. So there's that surface there. If it helps, I will clean this up and visualize it a little better probably. Let me clean this up a little. Hopefully this makes a little bit more sense visualizing it. So we're going to get this part in here, which this is this. That comes back 2 1/4. Because remember the depth here is the depth right here as well. Those are the same. So it goes 2 1/4. Now, did I draw on that? Wow. I'm going to take this. I'm going to very lightly drop. Here's a mistake a lot of students make. If you can see this line right there, they will take this corner and bring it down, and that is not correct. This corner is lined up with here. We have this one right here. So it's going to actually, wherever this line ends and comes up, it's going to be somewhere in this area. So this is where, can't pick up this template. Okay, so that's where, if I measure the depth, which is 2 1/4, that is where it goes up. Now, if you're thinking, why are you doing this if you can't see it? We will see part of it when we put that hole right there. You see how that comes up to right there? Okay, so I want to kind of mention that as well. So now we will be putting in the ellipses. Now, to do the ellipses, just like you do a circle, you want to find the center lines first. That is key. So to draw the center lines, keep in mind what edges they are parallel to. This line right here is parallel to this. Since this is parallel to this, it needs to be parallel on here. So you're going to have a line going right here. This is parallel to this. So they need to be parallel as well on here. That make sense? Parallel on here, parallel on here. It just happens to be at a 30-degree angle. So you can go ahead and find these. This is in 3/4. In 3/4. That's where that one is. And this other one is 1 1/8, as is that one up there. So measure the 1 1/8 right here. 1 1/8 right here. This other one is 1 1/4 from that outside corner. 1 1/4 right there. So now you can lightly put in the construction lines for what will become your center lines, which you don't have to draw the center lines on your finished drawing. I am out of lead, I think. Let's use this pencil. And I will make a smear on my drawing. Isn't that great? So try not to get some of these other ones mixed up on what's what. But if you look at this, this circle has a diameter of 3/4. Now you're going to go to your ellipse template. Even though these are ellipses, you want to treat them the same way you would treat a circle. Circles are diameters, ellipses are also diameters. This says it has a diameter of 3/4. So you want to find the 3/4 diameter on here, and that's right up here, 3/4. Now to draw this properly, to make sure it's situated on your paper, I want you to look at these marks on the corners there and right there. Don't pay attention to the vertical or horizontal ones. The marks on the corners are the ones you want to pay attention to. This ellipse will be sitting correctly on your paper when the two center lines are both lined up with those corner marks at the same time. So if you bring it down here, that's why you have to have your erasing or your center lines on there. Now, this corner mark right here and here, those two, that pair, that's lined up with this center line, but the other one's not lined up with this corner. So I'm going to keep rotating it. Keep rotating it. Keyboard in the way. Now the corner marks here are lined up with this one. Oh, hey, look at that. And now these corner marks are lined up with this one. Again, it's the marks on the corners that you want to pay attention to. That's what needs to get lined up. When they are both pairs lined up, that is where you can draw your ellipse. Look at that. Isn't that nice? The other one, it says, is 1 1/2 diameter, and it's kind of dimensioned improperly, as you know now. 1 1/2 diameter. Same thing as before. You want to find your 1 1/2, which is right here. If I move it right here, I have these corner marks lined up, but the other ones are not. So I keep rotating it. That looks correct. These corner marks are lined up with the center line. These corner marks are lined up with the center line. So now I know that that is correct. Okay. Now, not done yet. This ellipse and this ellipse, that's on that top surface, but it has a thickness to it. We want to show the thickness of, just like how we showed the thickness right here. You have a 1/4 inch thickness. This is going to be 1/4 inch thick. Okay, so there's a few ways of doing that. You can lightly draw from the intersection straight down a distance that's what's the thickness of this. This thickness is a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to bring this line straight down a 1/4 inch. Looks like pretty much where I got it right there. That will be the center of two new center lines that are on the bottom surface. Just like this point right here is the intersection of these two center lines on this surface. Since I dropped it a 1/4 inch, that is the center of the two center lines on the bottom of this. So we have the center lines on the top, now the center lines on the bottom. And when you line up your ellipse, Make sure you're on the correct center lines, and you're only going to draw the portion that you can see inside that hole. Only that part right there inside the hole. I'm going to darken my other one too while I'm right here. So see, you're only going to show that part right there. Same thing over here. Let's take that center. Go down a 1/4 inch. Draw 2 new center lines. And again, these are the center lines on the bottom. So that's what I'm lining up my 1.5 inch ellipse with. Hopefully that makes some sense. And you're only going to draw the part that's on the inside of that original top. Original top ellipse. Okay, now we're almost done. Just got to finish these parts right in here. Now if you look at this, see this shape right here? We have to draw that shape. It has these little feet. Those kind of these little feet right here. So then it's going to come up, over, down, over. Each of these feet are 1/2 inch with a 1/4 inch in between, and it goes up a 1/4 inch. 1/2 inch, 1 1/4, 1/4. So right here, measure 1/2 inch, measure 1 1/4, and then straight up, let me be a little more accurate here, straight up a 1/4 inch. Just darkening some of this so you can visualize it. And we do have to draw this part right here. It's a little short line, often missed. The little part right there. Okay, so this does need to get darkened in, but hopefully that makes some sense to you. Well, I still have some lead here. I'm going to continue darkening this. I really like this pencil. It's missing that little metal thing right there. One of you traded this with me because this was yours. The metal thing went out, so I gave you my good one. Now I'm struggling with this, but that's all right. I'd rather be the one struggling than you. Man, it's causing that lead to break constantly. Sorry, I'm blocking the screen here. Give me a second. It's really tough making the lines look nice with this pencil. So you'll have to excuse my drawing. Every time I draw a single line, the lead breaks. As it seems, anyway. And it broke again. Broken lead, broken lead, broken lead. Sitting on my drawing. Yay, yay, yay. See if I can finish this and still have lead. 2 more lines, or 3 more lines. Just broke again. Anyway, it's causing it to not be the nicest looking drawing. But, oh, excuse me. But you get the idea. So there you go. Kind of darkened in. That is drawing 26. Make sure that you get those ellipses drawn correctly and you show the thickness by dropping them down that 1/4 inch. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll be more than happy to help you out.